Good morning, everyone. Lovely to see your faces. Hope the sun is shining where you are. It is out my window this morning. So I've got a minute before we start, and I thought we could start in a seated position unless you want to lie down. So just choose how you would like to begin your practice. And if you have a strap, you might like to grab that. And if not, you can use a scarf or like myself later on, you can just hold the back of the leg. So it doesn't matter if you don't have anything. So either staying in a seated position with a nice tall spine, even sitting on a chair if the body's feeling a bit stiff and sore this morning, or grabbing some support, a cushion, a bolster, or coming to lie down. And if you feel comfortable, closing the eyes as you sigh the breath away 2 or 3 times, and perhaps saying to yourselves, something worthwhile is going to happen here. Something worthwhile is going to happen here. So just spending these first few moments in stillness, in silence, just time to gather yourselves. And if you like, turning your gaze, your drishti, towards the center of the forehead. So applying Shambhavi Mudra. You can do this with the eyes open or closed. Something worthwhile is going to happen here. Gazing at the center of your forehead and just becoming aware now of this space. Any sensations, feelings, thoughts floating through. Observing your experience in this moment. Breath coming, breath going. Breath arising, breath passing away. Sometimes our minds and bodies may be very active and wound up, even a bit choppy, like a turbulent sea. At other times, our minds and bodies might be a little calmer and quieter, more peaceful and settled. So I invite you now to imagine that you are standing or sitting next to a body of water. So it might be the seaside, it might be a river or a pond or a waterhole. And I invite you to visualize yourself tossing a pebble or a stone into the water and just watch it travel down, 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 all the way down, and then see it land on the river floor or the sandy bed of the ocean. See it resting there, still, quiet, unmoving, and also unaffected by the turbulence up above. So imagine now that you are this pebble or stone, lying on the riverbed or on the sandy floor of the ocean, untouched by the waves above, the chaos and turbulence, agitation. You are still, calm, peaceful. Peaceful and snug and feeling safe at the bottom of the water. And as you rest here, you might say to yourselves a few times, I live in a state of peace. I live in a state of peace. I live in a state of peace. We can get really agitated and tossed about by life. And our spiritual practice, our yoga, our meditation can assist us to be like the pebble or stone, calm and still at the bottom of the water, not so disturbed by thoughts, feelings, other people, external circumstances. We often can't stop the waves, the turbulence, the chaos, the tragedies. That's part of life. And it's not as though we are closing off our hearts to the pain and suffering of the world, but we can learn to retain our peace, our clarity, our inner stability, and not get so tossed about. So with this in mind, I invite you to ponder 3 questions. What allows me to tap into a state of inner peace? What allows me to tap into a state of inner peace? What does peace look like for me? What does peace look like for me? How can I show up to life from a state of peace? How can I show up for life from a state of peace? So during the practice this morning, keep returning to the image of the pebble or the stone at the bottom of the ocean or river as a symbol for your own peaceful core center, a part of you that is always with you, a part that you can return to again and again and again, learning to rest there, take refuge there, remembering that peace is not something we find out there. It comes from within by accepting our circumstances, being at peace with our decisions and actions, and embracing a calmer state of being. So again, those words, I live in a state of peace. I live in a state of peace. We're going to weave in the Sanskrit chant Shanti here this morning, meaning peace. So we're going to work with that now 5 times as we continue gazing at our third eye. So chanting Shantihi and working with this mudra can also help to free us up from a bit of internal agitation in mind or body. So feel free to join in or just chant mentally if you prefer. We'll work with this 5 times. You can either do this lying down or seated. Let's exhale all breath. And then breathing in. Shanti. 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 If you're in a seated position, we'll gently fold forward. If you're lying down, you might bring the knees in towards the chest now. Give yourselves a lovely hug and rock from side to side. And then without rushing, you can come up to sit. So from here, we're going to work with wheeling the body. So again, you might be sitting up until a little bit of support or not. And you can either have the legs crossed or in a diamond shape if this feels more appropriate for you this morning. Hands just resting lightly on your knees. And when you're ready, just beginning to circle around. Doesn't matter which way you begin. The eyes can be open or closed, whatever you feel comfortable with, softening the skin of the face, relaxing the mouth. You might even turn the sides of the mouth up slightly. And if it feels appropriate to do so, incorporating Shambhavi Mudra. So again, our drishti, our gaze, is at the center of the forehead. Just helping to bring the mind to a still point. Focusing, calming, centering the mind on this still point, the center of the forehead. Good. And then we'll circle the opposite way. If the legs are crossed, just change the cross of the legs. Bring the other leg in front this time. Circling around. Let the body be loose and relaxed, shoulders soft. Letting the movement come from the lower abdominal area, the lower back. So increasing mobility in the lower part of the spine. Good. And then slowly come back to center, lengthen up through the crown top. And we'll stretch the legs out in front of us and work with rowing the boat. So another gentle folding, forward folding movement. So we're going to imagine that we're picking up our oars, the feet are flexed. And as we exhale, we come forward. And as we inhale, we lean back. So you can work quite strongly here or not. You work out what's right for you this morning. You can even bend the legs if that feels better at this moment in time. So making this nice circular motion. Again, we're back on the water this time rather than being a pebble in the water. Let the movements be fluid, moving through water, on water. Good, and then reversing, inhale forward this time and exhale as you lean back. Inhale forward, exhale back. Inhale forward, exhale back. Good, and then gently come back to center. Just pop your oars to one side. You might give the legs a little bit of a shake or a rub, give the knees a little bit of a loving touch, bit of a massaging, perhaps down to your ankles. Good, and then we're going to move into boat. So we're rowing in a boat on the water, and now we are a boat, Navasana. So a bit of a balance. If you want to take a little more gently, the hands can be behind you and you might be lifting the legs up like this. Otherwise, we're holding on to the sides of our legs, sitting up nice and tall, nice tall spine. And then you start to lean back and lift up the legs. So you can keep a hold of the legs, or you can free the arms and have the arms, the palms facing each other alongside the legs. Those of you super energized this morning, you might like to straighten the legs, looking towards your big toes, inner edge of the big toes touching. So some yoga traditions teach that the feet are flexed here, some that the feet are, or the toes are pointed. You might like to just play around with that this morning, see what you prefer. I tend to flex the feet, but try pointing them this morning. How does that feel? You might notice it's working different muscles in the body. You're getting a slightly different stretch when the toes are pointed. Face is relaxed. And you know what to do when you need a little rest. Just lower the feet down and rest with the head forward. I'm going to do this once more. So have a little rest. If you've got anything underneath you, you might need to move that out of the way, because with this next round of boat, we're actually going to come down to lie at the end of working with the pose. So when you're ready again, we're going to lift up into our boat. It's visualizing yourself on a beautiful body of water that you love and know, or some water in your imagination, perhaps on the ocean or in a lake, floating down a river. Keep the breath flowing. And then at the end of this pose, we're going to tense the body tightly. So scrunch up your toes, make fists with the hands, tense the legs, the shoulders, the tummy, the chest, the face, screw up the face. And when you've had enough of all of that, we let it all go and come to lie down. Sighing the breath away. 2 or 3 times. Let the body drop. So again, visualize or imagine yourself as that pebble or stone now on the bottom of the body of water, resting, heavy, relaxed, very still, unmoving, unaffected by what's going on up above. Okay, let's come back to our chant of Shanti here now as we stretch through the body. So we're going to work with 5 arm raises and we'll chant as we lower the arms down. So make sure you're lying in a straight line to begin. Exhale all breath. And then breathing in as you float the arms up overhead. Perhaps like imagining your arms are moving through water. Point your toes. So 4 more. Inhale. Allowing waves of peace to wash through you with this chant. Shanti. Two more. Shanti. Last one. Shanti. Take a resting breath. Now let's take the arms overhead, just dropping the chant. And as you exhale, just let the arms rest there. Moving into our banana pose now. So walking both feet over to the bottom left-hand corner of the mat. Both hands over to the top left-hand corner of the mat. Keep the feet flexed. Try to relax your right shoulder down towards the mat. Tuck the chin forward. So we've created this beautiful C curve with the body and we're opening up that whole right side of the torso now. So breathe into that side, into the space you're creating there. And if you want to increase the stretch, cross the right ankle over the left and grab hold of your right wrist with the left hand. Good. And then we'll uncross the legs, release the wrists, come back to center, and then walk your feet over to the bottom right-hand corner, hands over to the top right-hand corner, feet are flexed.
Again, just relaxing that left shoulder down, back of the neck long, breathing into the left side of the torso now. Again, if you'd like to, crossing the left ankle over the right, holding on to your left wrist. Good. And then uncross your legs, back to center. And as you exhale, lower both arms down. And again, take a resting breath. All right, moving on to our dynamic leg lock pose. So as we breathe in, again, the arms float up overhead. And as we exhale, we're drawing the right knee in. Head may lift towards the knee or just stay down on the mat. So 2 more of these. Inhale, again, as though you're moving through water. So everything's slowed down this morning, not rushing, not forcing, no sense of urgency. Breathing in, stretch it out. And exhale, draw in. Good. Now, keep the right knee into the chest, but free the hands. So your hands are facing, or the palms are facing each side of the knee. And we're going to start to move the knee from palm to palm. So the knee is a ball. And we're tossing it from side to side. So a little movement to begin. Left foot is flexed, so not forgetting about that left leg. No tension in the mouth, relax the teeth, the tongue. And starting to increase the space between your 2 palms. Swinging the leg a little wider each time. Saying good morning to our right hip. Sending some loving kindness and gratitude into that right hip for all that it does for us every day. Good, and then we're going to move into a twist. So take that right knee over to the left side, left hand on the average of the knee, right arm at shoulder height, and you might choose to look along that right arm towards your fingers, softening the right shoulder, the face, perhaps gazing at your third eye, Shambhavi Mudra. And perhaps coming back to those words, I live in a state of peace. I live in a state of peace. I live in a state of peace. Good. Now gently bring that knee back to center. Give it a hug. And this is where, if you've got your strap or scarf, you're going to pop that around the ball of the right foot now and extend the right leg up. If not, like me, you can interlace the fingers around the back of the thigh or the calf. Some of you might be able to reach up and hold onto your right big toe. The left leg can stay long, or you can step that left foot up close to the buttock for a bit of extra support. Chin tucks forward. So remembering, ideally, we always want the forehead to be level with the chin or a little bit higher, rather than the chin here being higher than the forehead. So tuck that chin down. I remember a yoga teacher once saying to us, we can imagine that we've got a squishy mango between our chin and our chest. So just holding that, that mango there in place. Perhaps we can eat it after our yoga practice. Yum, yum. Continuing to breathe. Now, where has the mind gone? What's happening? Can we bring it back to the breath? Can we bring our drishti to our third eye to help focus, center, come back home? Connecting with the breath. And then if you've got a strap there, just pop the strap to the side and just going to start to point and flex that right foot. Some loving attention now into that right ankle and circling the foot. Thanking our ankle for all that it does for us every day. Helping us to move about in the world, stand upright and reversing. Good, and then just give that right knee a hug. Free your arms out to the side and let's make some giant cycling movements with this right leg. So as though you're on a unicycle, just one leg at a time, circling around. So now this is wonderful for our hip, our ankle, and also our knee. So some loving attention into our right knee, thanking our knee joint, and reversing those circles. Dorsiflexing the foot, which means you're pushing out through the ball of the foot. Good. And then just release that right leg down, stretch the left leg along, and again, a resting breath. Okay, so let's do that same sequence now on the other side. Inhale, float both arms overhead. And exhale, draw the left knee in. Head may lift or stay down. 2 more, breathing in. And breathing out. Good. Third one, we're holding the knee in, hands on either side of the knee, and we're going to imagine we're tossing a ball between our 2 palms. So a little movement to begin, right foot flexed. Starting to increase the space between your palms, sending some loving attention into our left hip now, thanking our left hip for all that it does for us every day, every night, 24/7. Good, and then taking that left leg over to the right side, moving into a twist, left arm at shoulder height, option to turn to look along your left fingers, relaxing that left shoulder. Perhaps a gentle smile on your lips. drishti to your third eye, and perhaps saying to yourselves, I live in a state of peace. I live in a state of peace. I live in a state of peace. Gently come back to center, give that left knee a hug. If you've got your strap or your scarf, popping it around the ball of the foot now, otherwise holding the back of the leg or reaching up for your left big toe. Option to bend that right leg now. Feel that your head, neck and spine are in a straight line, chin tucking forward. Find your breath. Good. And just lose the strap or the scarf and let's point and flex that left foot. Point and flex. Sending some loving attention into our left ankle now and circling the foot. And reversing. Good, and then hug that knee in for a moment. And then we're going to imagine we're on that unicycle and we're cycling now. So making nice slow circles with this left leg, dorsiflexing the foot. Looking to our hip, our knee and our ankle. Great for improving circulation through the legs. Great if you get really cold feet and toes in winter. Also help with varicose veins and reversing. Good, and release. Okay, let's hug both knees in. And we're going to take both legs up to the sky. If you want a little bit of extra support for the lower back, you'll slip the hands under the buttocks. Otherwise, your hands can be out to the side. So both feet are up to the ceiling. Again, we're dorsiflexing the feet. So we're pushing up through the pads of the toes, the balls of the feet. And we're going to lower one leg down as we exhale. So just in your own time, try to keep the other leg exactly where it is. Foot can hover off the floor and then inhale, raise it back up. And then you'll lower the other leg down. Linking this movement with your breath. Inhale, lift. And we'll continue. Now, those of you who want to go a little bit stronger with this, you can do two legs at the same time. Lowering down, trying to keep the legs as straight as possible. Otherwise, you're just continuing to alternate from side to side. Good. So let's do 2 more to each side. Make sure you work evenly. When you finish, just keep those legs in there if you can. But if you need a little rest, you can hug them in and just rock from side to side. Now, we're going to need to free the arms if they are out to the side. Take a breath and then just bring the knees in. Give yourselves a hug. Coming back to our chant of Shanti. So we're going to work with 5 rounds, raising the legs, and then as we lower, we'll chant. So as we inhale, arms float up overhead, legs to the sky. Shanti. Head may lift or stay down. So 4 more. Shanti. Last one. Now drop your feet to the mat, preparing to move into bridge. So inhale, press the palms into the mat as you lift your hips. And on the exhalation, lowering back down. You can incorporate the arms with this movement if you'd like to, or just keep them down alongside you. Inhale, we lift. Exhale, we lower. Keep going. Just finish the one you're on and work with 2 more. And then bring the knees into the chest, cross your legs at the ankles, a hand on each knee, and some little circles on the floor. Good, and circling the opposite way. All right, let's roll over to one side and we're going to very slowly, no hurry, come up into a standing position.
Let's take a moment to find your new relationship with gravity now that we're standing. And we're going to begin with our standing cat, Marjariyasana. So feet are hip width, do this sideways, a little bend in the legs, hands are onto our thighs. As we exhale, we're going to round the back and look down. And as we breathe in, chest moves forward, shoulders back, and we just tilt the face to look up, soft face. So exhale, we round. Inhale, chest forward. Exhale. Good. So you can go at your own pace. You can keep this slow like I'm doing, or you can speed it up. Good. And just make this your last one. And release, come up, roll the shoulders back. Might give the arms and legs a bit of a shake. Let's do some, a little bit more work for our knees. So bring the feet together, spread your toes, little bend in the legs. And now hands are onto your knees as you make some nice little circles with your knees. And reversing. Good. And release. So feet back, hip width apart, hands onto our hips. Little bit of a bend in the legs, and let's work into our hips now. Some nice slow circles. And perhaps a gentle smile, lips. Perhaps your attention again is at the center of the forehead. Perhaps you're silently continuing to chant to yourself, Shanti, sending waves of peaceful energy through the body, or perhaps directing it to a particular part of the body that needs some extra care and attention this morning. And then reversing. And release. Okay, give it a shake if you like. And coming into Tadasana. So feet are hip width, shoulders back. And I like to sigh the breath away, lengthening up through the crown top. Now we're going to do an arm movement. And on the second exhale, as we're releasing, if you'd like to join with me, we'll chant Shanti. So we'll do 5 of these. So as we breathe in, we're going to raise the arms to shoulder height. And as we exhale, just turn the palms over, soft palms, soft shoulders. Inhale, we raise the arms above the head. And we chant down, Shanti. Sending the peace down through your body. So 4 more. Inhale. Turn the palms over. Breathe in. Shanti. Let's keep going. Last one. Just rest the hands now at the heart space, eyes open or closed, whatever you're comfortable with. Gazing at your third eye as you say to yourselves a few times, I live in a state of peace. I live in a state of peace. I live in a state of peace. Let's blink the eyes open. We'll work with a few rounds of circle of joy. So on the next inhale, interlace your fingers, raise the elbows. And as we exhale, we stretch the arms forward. Inhale, takes the arms up above the head, press down through the feet. And exhale, interlacing the fingers behind. Breathe into the heart as you see if you can squeeze the palms together and then lift the arms up. Inhale, arms back to touch. Exhale. Again. Take the arms up. This time we'll add a lateral stretch, so you lean over to the left. You can separate the arms if that's better for your shoulders. Back to center and over to the right. To center and let the arms down. Interlacing, breathe in. Lift the arms. Might bring the opposite index finger in front this time. The arms up. Again, we can lean over to the left side. Back to center. To the right. To center. Float the arms down. Again, opposite index finger in front. Breathe in. And lift the arms. Exhale. Let's work with two more. And forward fold this time. So interlace your fingers, breathe into the heart space, and then coming forward. Legs can stay straight or bend here as the arms lift up and over the head. Stay for one breath. And then slowly come up. And exhale. So last one. And coming forward, we'll stay for 2 breaths this time. Coming up. Take a breath. And release the hands. Let's do a little bit of a flowing twist now. So just make sure you're not going to bump into anything. And then just letting the arms wrap around the body freely. And taking the arms up to chest height. And all the way up overhead, looking up, stretching up. And back to shoulder height. And back around the waist, bring the head back to center, letting everything slow down. A nice deep breath in. Side away. And we're going to move into ragdoll. So feet can be hip width or even a little bit wider, as wide as your mat. Shoulders back, heart open, deep breath in here. And as we exhale, we're slowly, slowly coming forward. Gravity draw you down. Think of that pebble or stone moving down through the water towards the bottom of the bed of the ocean or the bed of the river, landing heavily on the floor. You might like to sway a little bit here or just be still, just rest, breathe, legs bent or straight. Now from here, we're going to come to lie down onto our tummies. If you want a little bit more action, then just walk your hands forward and make your way into down face dog pose. Otherwise, you can just lie down on your tummies at this moment in time. Otherwise, you're in dog with me. Connecting with your breath, your drishti, to your third eye, the center of the forehead, Shambhavi Mudra. Now you're welcome to stay in dog a bit longer. Those of you who want a little bit more, you can drop your knees now and work with some yogi push-ups. You might do up to 5 of these. If you're not sure, you can have a look. So just dropping the knees. Might move the hands a little further forward than your shoulders, and then as you exhale, you're just bringing the front of the torso down towards the mat, and as you inhale, you're pushing up. Exhale down, elbows squeeze in.
inhale, push up. So you might do a few more of those, or stay in dog, or you're now lying down on your tummies, having a little bit of a rest. We'll meet here when you're ready. Taking a moment to check in with yourself, note what's going on. Physically, mentally, emotionally, energetically, without attaching a judgment to this. You might feel that lately there's been a lot of agitation, a lot of turbulence, even chaos going on internally. We're dropping beneath that this morning. We're connecting in with our core self. We call in yoga Atman, symbolic of that pebble or stone that is unaffected by this agitation, this stress, this turbulence. And it's always there for us to do a deep dive and connect with. You just sometimes forget that it's there. All right, let's come up now into Crocodile Makarasana. So we're resting on the forearms, the palms are together, feet are hip width or even mat width apart. Those of you who'd like something a little bit stronger, you're welcome to come into Bhujangasana Cobra, but I'm just going to stay in Crocodile this morning. And again, if it feels appropriate, you can direct your gaze to the center of your forehead. Face soft. And perhaps mentally chanting to yourself 4 or 5 times. Shanti. Shanti. Try and stay here for another couple of minutes, but feel free to lower down before then if need be. Next 2 or 3 breaths. Preparing to release from this position. Come down, resting your chin or forehead on your hands. If the lower back's a bit tender, bend the legs and just swing them from side to side. And then come back to center with your legs together and just bend one leg, pushing the heel up towards the sky. Inner knees are touching. As we breathe in, we're just going to lift that knee off the floor and push the heel up, squeezing the buttock. And as we exhale, just lower the knee down. So we'll do 4 more of these. As we breathe in, we lift, squeeze, hold, and let it go. Lower the right foot down, let's bend the left leg. So flexing the foot, pushing the heel up, toes down as we inhale and lift the knee, squeeze the buttock, hold, and exhale. So 4 more. And release it down. Bring the hands alongside your chest. Inhale, lift up, bend the legs, and push back into child's pose. So either with your arms down alongside you or making fists with the hands and resting your forehead on your fists. Good. And then let's slowly come up. And we're going to sit for another 4 or 5 minutes and work with that meditation again of being a pebble or a stone. So I'm just going to grab my cushion and my shawl. So grab any support you need. If you're really low in energy, you might lie down at this point and then you can just transition straight into Shavasana. But if you can sit, even in a chair, that's good. The legs stretched out in front or in a diamond shape. Nice tall spine. Softening the shoulders, imagining there's an invisible cord connected to the crown of the head, lifting you up towards the heavens. While the bottom half of the body is sinking down with gravity. So feel your connection with the earth, that sense of being grounded, of being stable. And if you have a favorite mudra, you might incorporate that this morning. If you're not sure, index fingers and thumbs joined, palms down or up, whatever feels most comfortable or appropriate. So often when we turn the palms down, it's a bit of a symbolic gesture of us turning inward. So for me, that feels natural with meditation. We're wanting to turn inward. Whereas sometimes we can have the palms up where there's more of a gesture of opening up to whatever might be out there. More feeling of expansion, perhaps. Up or down, see what feels right for you this morning. There's no right or wrong with that. Just play around with it and see what feels right for you. So the eyes are lightly closed or with a soft downward glance.
You might choose to activate Shambhavi Mudra. So again, gazing at the center of the forehead. You might rest the tip of the tongue on the roof of the mouth behind the front teeth. And also help to quieten the mind, quieten some of that internal agitation. You might even apply a gentle Mula Bandha. So our perineal lock, just a gentle squeeze of that area, contraction. And in this position, let's once again visualize ourselves as that pebble or stone resting on the ocean floor or on the sandy bed of a river. Heavy, solid, still, quiet, resting, untouched by the movement above. Resting in the depths. Gently releasing the practice. We'll chant 3 rounds of Shanti here before we come to lie down. Taking a deep breath in. Shanti. Without disturbing yourself too much, come to lie down. If you prefer to remain seated, that's fine. Just going to rest for a couple of minutes, a short relaxation. Of course, you can stay resting after if you'd like to. You might sigh the breath away 2 or 3 times. When we practice this pose, Shavasana, at the end of our sessions, it's a very important and precious time when the effects of the poses can sink in. So just give yourself permission now to rest. Begin to release the weight of your bones into the earth and feel the support of the earth beneath you. Shavasana is essentially about undoing and simply being. So enjoy this time of deep rest, deep quiet, deep peace. So feel free to stay lying down if you're happy here and you have the time. Otherwise, start now to deepen the breath and bring a little bit of movement into your fingers and toes. Have a bit of a stretch. Roll to one side and come up to sit. We'll close our practice with one Om. So if you'd like to join with me, bring your hands together at the heart. Deep breath in. Om. Namaste. Thank you for joining me this morning. If you'd like to try a little experiment this week, I encourage you to, when you're in front of a mirror, to look into your eyes and say to yourselves a few times, I live in a state of peace. Even do it a couple of times a day, 2 or 3 times. When you're in the bathroom, look into your eyes. I live in a state of peace. Love to you all. I'll keep in touch. Bye.
Thanks, Fiona.
Bye.